Welcome back. It's still Breakfast Daily, and we are here still on the news review segment. So in the studio with me, of course, is Ibrahim Ajay, who is the Assistant Secretary at the Office of the President, and Victor Akufo-Addo, who is the member of the National Democratic Congress Legal and Communication Team. So, yeah, we're having a conversation before we went on the break. So, Ibrahim, I'm just going to give you the floor right now.
Chris, thank you so much. I want to address some of the things that Victor mentioned.
Yeah.
You're saying that now we're saying...
Ibrahim, let me just add this one so that I can. About where you said the executive and judiciary can't. See, let me give you, even the Democracy Hub, recently, before they did the 3 days demonstration, what did we hear? The judiciary has granted injunction, right, that they should not go. But what happened? Is it the judiciary that allowed them to go on the demonstration? It is the executive. The people who felt that, okay, let's allow them to go on that. So if we are saying that you have that power to say, release the people, it can be done. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you say that. Maybe you're not privy to whether or not there was any backroom negotiations with regards to allowing the judiciary to renege or backtrack. I'm coming. Let me land. We had the same thing. Let my vote count alliance. How is it that now we have stopped legally the police taking ex parte motion in the middle of the night, because everybody has a right to apply to protest. It's your God-given Ghanaian right. But the police, prior to Let My Vote Count Alliance's advocacy, after you've been given permission, Chris, to go and demonstrate, in the middle of the night, they would go, I'm talking to the police then, to a judge at midnight. Which lawyers are there? You know this, Victor. And then they would cancel that permission. That thing has stopped. So if you're saying whether or not the judiciary initially said there's an injunction, now you're saying that later it was allowed. I'm not privy to any discussions or negotiations that went on thereafter. But let me just park that for a side so I can get back on point. You mentioned that now we're saying, as in now, the MPP government is saying that you are politicizing it. It's not the case. And I discussed this with you. I'm going to remind you of what we said. When the president put his presidency on the line, it was to make sure that we can somehow cure the cancer of illegal mining. Small-scale mining is allowed. I want to repeat that. The law allows for small-scale mining. It's the illegal mining. Those who don't have the permit, those are the ones that are outside of the law, ultra-virus, and need to be dealt with. So who politicized it? After the president said, look, I'm going to jail A, B, and C. We're going to prosecute X, Y, and Z. Presently, we have over 850 people, according to what Godfrey Dame said, awaiting trial and prosecution. The judiciary have been asked to do what? Fast-track the Galamsey cases, am I right? 140 people have also already been prosecuted. Back when we discussed this, Aisha Wang, the Galamsey queen, under your tenure, and her offences...
Okay, you were right. They were actually burning something.
Thank you.
I just saw it.
Yes, we come prepared. We discussed this last time, Victor. Aisha Wang, her offences occurred, I'm talking Galamsey offences, occurred between 2013 and 2015. Nothing happened under NDC. What happened? We have now jailed her 4.5 years. That Chinese woman is now in a jail cell in Ghana for 4.5 years. Look at the dichotomy, the difference between your lip service and our actually taking action. What did John Mahama say in 2020? After the president put his presidency on the line, said, look, I'm going to deal with this, and I'm putting it on the ballot, if you trust me. John Mahama in September 2020, Chris, said, vote for me, and I will release you. Some so-called amnesty. And then when you mollycoddle, when you accommodate illegality, that's when the nation goes to bits. So when you're saying that, indeed, the president is going in 3 months or what have you, and that there's going to be space for you, by God's grace, inshallah, you won't see that day. Because, again, you have His Excellency, Alhaji Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. We're coming with proposals that can actually engage small-scale miners and make sure that there's inclusivity within a legal framework. the geological surveys are going to be made sure that we give those surveys to Ghanaians and say, look, per scientific inquiry, these areas, we can see that there are gold seams or gold deposits in these areas, and you are being given the permission to mine those areas. That's how you deal with it, by making sure that Ghanaians own the gold, partake in artisanal, and there's no try-makwe, where people dig, there's no gold, and they pollute the water bodies and what have you. We are correcting that canker. John Mahama is saying that I will give you guys amnesty. So is he going to give Aisha Wang amnesty also? What are you doing to Ghana when you say this, Victor? So I'm landing on my point now, that the president has been vocal. You want to hear him every single day. I can understand that. No, because you're saying that COVID, you're using COVID as an example. We had the weekly of my fellow Ghanaians speeches, and you saw the veracity of COVID. I'm in no way, shape or form, Victor, saying that Galamsey is not. It is serious. Illegal mining and its detriment to the environment is serious. I think all three of us are on the same page on that. You mentioned Kojo Opong Nkrumah. Just 3 days ago, 3 days, 3 days ago, in his constituency, he's telling everybody, if there's any even MP who is engaged in Galamsey, vote them out. It's on there. Check on the social media. Yeah. I'm coming. I'm a Landofani. So what he's saying is, I'm talking Kojo Opong because you cited him. So I have to come out and rebut what you're saying. Kojo Opong Nkrumah has been strict and indeed consistent with his abhorrence for Galamsey, illegal mining. He just mentioned it 3 days ago during a constituency campaign rally. So please, when you say that some time ago he said it's Galamsey all over, as if it's changed, he hasn't changed his tune. The music he's playing is the same music that he's playing. There's music for Ghanaians to succeed in this era. And so the president has been vocal, maybe not as vocal as we would all want. Weekly briefings. But COVID and Galamsey, without denigrating, Chris, is not sebi, I beg you, the same. Sebi.
So there are two different things.
In terms of we didn't know when this thing would, there was no cure, there's no vaccine, people were dying. Pandemic. Yeah, you saw Spaniards, 200,000.
Yeah.
America, 2 million Americans died. British, 200,
Italy, the same thing.
And Italy as well. We didn't know what was going to happen in Africa. And he said, look, if anything, we can bring back the economy. But as for Ghanaian lives, I'm putting everything on the line for this. I'm not saying Galamsey is somehow weaker than that. But the veracity of how the pandemic engulfed the whole world, Victor, you had to do something.
Was it a crisis?
Yeah. Anyway,
it was a crisis. As
is Galamsey to a crisis?
And he's being vocal.
It's
a crisis, and he's being vocal.
Let's actually move to the next topic. And the next topic is still on Galamsey. You know, the fight against illegal mining. Of course, illegal mining has been a persistent issue in Ghana, damaging the environment and the water bodies. And earlier on, when you were giving your submission, you talk about, you know, how the president met with Organised Labour. Yeah. And so we are going to be reading a little, you know, this, like, we're going to be reading something about that. So the government has made efforts to combat illegal mining, but of course we can see that there's been limited success. And recently the president actually called on Organised Labour to support the government's effort instead of going on their strike. So, what are your thoughts about that? You know, why did he have to, you know, meet with Organised Labour? Because earlier on you talked about it a bit, but now let's go deeper into it. Why did he have to meet them? Yeah. Why was it important to meet them?
Organised Labour is an anchor of Ghana's economy.
Yeah.
You know, and it cuts across education, health, transport, industry, in terms of those who are affiliated to the various unions within our economy. It was important because these institutions and their concerns needed that audience. And so when you have a listening president, that's what you do. You listen to the people and you engage them. Now, why is the president asking for additional time? It goes to the point that you have, per estimations, Chris, around 1 million Ghanaians engaged in small-scale mining.
Right.
Let me differentiate the two. 1 million Ghanaians engaged in small-scale mining. Of that, a proportion of them are doing it illegally. Now, you've got to somehow weigh up the majority of those legally partaking in small-scale mining against those who are not. I mentioned last week that what we want is not so much a moratorium, because Victor said in our submissions last week, let's ban everything, let's have a moratorium. And I said, Victor, the ban is already in place. It is illegal to do small-scale mining without permit. So as for the banning, it's already there. What we are now addressing is enforcement. And it's about making sure that you can protect the livelihoods of those who are legally and professionally doing mining on a small-scale basis, who are not polluting water bodies, who are not mining or prospecting on the river bodies or the waterbeds, and then focus on those who are doing the illegal, those who are going in the forest reserves and what have you.
But, you know, who is actually policing even the ones that are claimed to be legal miners, small-scale legal miners? Who is policing that? Because it's yesterday, was it yesterday? Or 2 days ago, you know, an article came out about how many licenses that have been given out in a very short time.
Within this period.
Within this period. Like,
even this October,
it's a lot. And then some of these licenses, when you check the addresses look like small toilets, like little, you know, some of the places do not even really exist. So who is actually policing the small-scale miners?
I'm 100% with you on this. I don't think we need to have divergent voices. If this is water, say it's water, and don't say it's Coca-Cola. Am I right? In terms of the policing, you have the military, the police, then you have, of course, the district or the municipal authorities also being part of that architecture of administrating those licenses. Licenses that are given are known. If we take this table, and you know that in this area, this quadrant, we've licensed you and Victor to mine. So all we need to do as administrators is to go to those areas where are licensed. Am I right? Because you have it. Then every other area that is not licensed, once there's activity, you pick the people up. It's such a black and white issue for me. It makes sense. Because you know that we have a grid of our area. In this quadrant, okay, these coordinates, X and Y, they are licensed. They can legally mine. Professionally, though, you can't just mine keke. You have to make sure that you're not using certain illegal substances, the mercury and what have you. That kind of on-site supervision needs to be ongoing constantly. But anywhere else in your jurisdiction, I'm talking assemblies now, that you have not given license, you go and pick them up. Forest reserves, it's illegal to mine there. You go and pick them up. So that's why I'm saying that you don't need a ban. It's about enforcement. It's like saying 3 people have sped on the motorway, 100 miles an hour. So let's ban every vehicle from going on the motorway. Does it make sense? What you do is, when I say it doesn't make sense, respectfully, is it productive? You don't ban every vehicle who has legally gotten their license from DVLA, are driving according to the speed limits, their roadworthy is intact, then you ban everybody. What you do is you make sure that those 3 vehicles who are going above the speed limit, Chris,
are the ones that
they're the ones you arrest.
All right. So let's hear from you, Victor.
You see, there is a history to organized labor, their intention to demonstrate. And what is that history? I think when the issue of the sale of the hotels from states, when people were saying, especially the politicians, were all saying that it is not right for another politician to be benefiting whilst you are in office, public office. I think that the government did not see what was wrong with it. Even the president came and said it was a needless noise, right? That was when organized labor said, no, we are stepping in. It tells you that now the power that we have bestowed on the politicians, that's the public power, they want to use it to benefit they themselves. And organized labor came in and said, no, if you don't stop this, we will go on strike. What did we see? There was a turnaround. because they knew the consequences or the ramification. So they didn't do it. Government listened. It is the same thing now. You see, I'm sure that people who have given the benefit of doubt to the president, if the president says, give me time,
1 month, yeah,
so that I'll do it. But if you look at the history from 2017 till date, if really you were fighting it and you couldn't, and what were the difficulties, right? I'm sure that people will reason and say that, look, the president is right, they give him more time to be able to do it. But the narratives, when it comes to fighting it, makes people to believe and know that the president is not sincere. The president is not committed in fighting it. Why do I say this? One, when the Interministerial Committee came with its report and said that there were some kingpins, some people, they know them within the presidency, right? What happened to Frimpong Boateng, right? He was thrown out. Two, when there were reports, even about Akuntan mining, that matter has been reported to the police. Just about 3 weeks or a month at the public forum, the president came and said, Akuntan mining is not mining in any forest, when there was visual evidence contrary to what the president said. The president said that we will not go to IMF. There will not be any haircut. But the contrary happened. So now, even citizens, even before organized labor will have, citizens are saying that no, there is evidence. Evidence abounds that when he says this, he does not mean it. So don't listen to him. Now the hope, all citizens, the Ghanaian citizens, majority, are looking up to organized labor. That they have spoken once. We saw the benefit. We saw the results. This time too, organized labor wants to speak. And everybody, citizen, believe that when they speak. So for me, organized labor is the last hope. If they lose this opportunity, right, where they will be divide and rule within their ranks, already I've started hearing some of government people saying some of them have taken bribe, they've taken money, is a bit to divide them. They should listen to their citizens. I'm sure if they listen and synthesize, they would see where the citizens are coming from. It means that the citizens are losing faith in the political parties. They are losing faith in the political leadership. So now they see organized labor as somebody who they can do. You see, the other narrative too, I'm sure people who have given the benefit of doubt to the government. If we hadn't seen, just recently, what are the narratives? Appointees of the government. Dr. Abedi Ayu. What did he say? Ayu. What did he say? He said, we won't stop today, we won't stop tomorrow, which we all condemn. Asante Boateng, the MP for Asante Achim, South. He says that if we do it, we will lose in our Galamsey constituency. But it is not true. The narrative is flawed. Etiwa, they are doing Galamsey. Etiwa West, Etiwa East. Have they lost those seats? No. Chebi, it's happening there. Have they lost that seat? No. Takwa, it's happening there. Have they lost that seat? No. You see, so the problem is that some of your own appointees, the narratives, and I don't know if it is the party's position for that narrative, because you can see a golden thread in all that they are saying, and that is what is not helping matters. I believe that Ghanaians are sensible. Ghanaians would want to give the president the benefit. Look, organized labor, I'm sure the reason why they went and met the president after the month's notice is that they still believe and know that the president is the father of this nation. If he had done something, his attitude towards the whole issue, when he calls them, they will have to obey and attend his call. So all I can say is organized labor today the expectation. Ghanaians are looking up to you. It is up to you to rise up to the occasion, or when you lose that credibility now, remember that you will lose it forever.
All right, so on that note, we actually have some messages from our viewers. A full question from Takrady says, Galamsey, one, strikers must heed to the fact that the freedom to strike goes with responsibilities. 2, the media must show their uprightness and not their personal bias in dealing with this issue. And 3, the age of Galamsey could be same as that of the Fourth Republic. Politicians of all colors are involved, same as the other persons, high and low. We also have another message. Good morning. Our government is really joking with us. Organized labor, stand firm. That is the only tool that will let the government act. And lastly, we have here, last Friday, a group of motor riders overran the Galamsey demonstrators and destroyed the police property in the process, but the police did not arrest a single person. This is not justice. Good morning, lovely Ghanaians. Vividly, Galamsey is killing the good people of Ghana. Reduced exporting, damaging agriculture, depreciation of our Ghanaian city, and increasing unemployment. I was against ex-President Mahama because he was not perfect. But this government has destroyed everything 10 times more than Mahama's time. We voted him out, and you guys are still talking about Mahama's administration? We need a solution to solve this issue. Now we know some people were sent to school to speak English, but nothing else. Thank you. Thank you so much to each and every one of you for sending these messages. And we also want to say a very big thank you to Ibrahim-Addo, who is the Assistant Secretary at the Office of the President, and also Victor Akufo-Addo, member of the National Democratic Congress, Legal and Communication team. Thank you so much for this. But do you have any final words?
Yes.
Let me give Ibrahim, because you actually
on topic or
final words.
My final words
on topics, on everything.
Okay. Yeah. What I would urge Victor to do is this. You mentioned one of the contributors in this section, that it happens across parties. We know, we understand that. When you mention and we condemned him last week on this platform, like in the same way that I did with Kojo Ponkruma, cite MPs who are vociferous in making sure that we root out this canker, because otherwise you give a distorted view. You understand me? Yes. So that's my last word on that.
Any contribution?
Yeah, my last word is that organized labor, stand firm, and I wish the Secretary to the President speedy recovery. Right. I think that it's been something that there were some rumors that we had, but I think God has heard our prayers, and I wish him all the best. I saw something. I think that let's all pray for him. Right. Nobody will even wish his sworn enemy that he should pass away. So let's pray for him. Right. As the communication has come from the presidency. Right. Yes, we are all Ghanaians. At the end of the day, we are the same people. Right.
Thank you so much. All right. So my final words are stop Galamsey. Don't forget to use the hashtag Stop Galamsey now. And of course, to the police, those people that actually scattered the barricade while the peaceful protesters were doing their thing. I think you also need to look to them. If you can catch the other people, I think you should also look out for the other people. Thank you so much. Let us go on a quick break. And when we come back, we have so much more for you right here on Breakfast Daily.